Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is video 2, episode 2 from Sri and Don's e-commerce talk, where we'll bring you weekly 5 to 10 minute episodes on hot topics. This week we're going to talk about an article that Sri published late December talking about the must-have imperatives to win in e-commerce, specifically on Amazon. We're going to go through the questions. We have 5 laid out, and we'll start now. All right, for question number 1, Sri, what are your thoughts on private label relating to CPG?
That's a good one, Don. Private label in the CPG industry. I think the first thing we should examine is, why does private label even exist in the first place? Clearly, over decades and over a century of being in existence, private label has existed because there's been shortcomings in packaging, shortcomings in probably profit to the retailer, as well as how the product is presented to the consumer. Straightforward. That's why private label exists in the first place. So when it comes to a retailer and I start examining what is the impact of private label to the CPG industry, this one is epic. When you brand your private label different by category and you have private label competing with itself with multiple branding, epic. The industry really needs to understand, really needs to understand the impact of private label on Amazon. Study, learn, follow if you have to. Epic is what I call it.
All right, Sri, question 2. What are your thoughts on the share metric? And is this something that CPG should take note of?
The dreaded share metric. Brands have become epic over the share metric. Brands have started, stopped, dissolved, not been in existence over the measurement of the share metric. Why do we even have a share metric in the first place? Again, fairly straightforward, Don. The share metric existed because the shelf was limited in space. It wasn't endless. 80 feet, 60 feet, 40, 20, 8, 4, depending upon the channel and the outlet, as you call it. So it was very important for a CPG company to know what its share of the shelf was. That's how the share metric was born, purely by measuring linear feet. That transposed itself to dollar share, category share, unit share, things of that nature. But we live in a digital world today. Is the share metric really that relevant? If you're going to measure share, it's not the dollar sales share that matters and the category share. The single most important share metric in the share measurement world, if there is one, is the unit share. Why is this the case? Because of price transparency and wild price swings that happen online, that it just simply doesn't make sense in my head to actually measure dollar share and share of the category. Unit share? Absolutely. But above all that, what triumphs as the share metric to me is share of audience. If you look at the amount of audience that actually goes to online players and you look at what they actually sell by size of how much they sell, they are nowhere. It's like being on planet Earth and planet Mars. My recommendation, my suggestion, I personally measure unit share and share of audience, or the outreach of a given online website. How many people actually look into the website every day? How many people do clicks on the website every day? How often are they looking at ratings and revenues? Therefore, in my mind, it's those two share metrics that matter the most.
Question 3 for you, Sri. AMS and AMG, ready, go.
It's 2019, Don. If AMS is not in your marketing mix and media spend, it is a mistake. Again, my humble opinion. So traditionally, the mix revolved around what happened in the past, TV with the size of the audience and reach it has. Who's watching live TV these days? Maybe with the exception of the Super Bowl, maybe the Oscars. I believe this was the first year in history where the Super Bowl was actually available for streaming widely free anywhere in the United States. So if you look at the media mix and the MMX model, obviously TV, print, radio, etc. would have its role, but they've significantly diminished. In the digital world, in 2019, who's got the maximum clout when it comes to the media mix and what should the share of mix be? Obviously, there's Google for search, but Google has existed over a decade now and it's probably in your media mix. Several other search engines, if you're not working with the likes of Criteo on sending to retail search, that needs to be in your media mix. But the role of AMS, I cannot underscore the importance of it actually not being just a trade spend amount from a budget or just being in the budget for a rounding error. AMS has reached epic proportions where it needs to be part of your media mix and it needs to be part of a strat plan, planned the right way with the same discipline you plan everything else. You do that, you will focus on getting the outcomes that you want for your brands, keeping the equity of your brands. Epic as always, straightforward.
Question 4. How do you think about dealing with crap?
Crap, it's not what you're thinking what it is. Actually, if you're in the industry with me in e-commerce and digital, you know exactly what it means. It's the dreaded word that you never want to hear of, you never want to talk about. Hence the choice of words crap. Can't realize any profit. C-R-A-P. You know who coined it. You know how bad this hits you. What should you be doing about it? My suggestion, Don's suggestion, our suggestion. Take crap very seriously. Instead of looking at crap and feeling bad about it, regretting it, make sure your assortment doesn't deal with crap in the first place. Just like why private label exists, ask yourself a question. Why does a given SKU in my assortment get crapped out, quote unquote, crapped out in the first place? Look at the metrics behind what's in that SKU. Is it the ingredients of your brand? Is it the ingredients of your product? Is it packaging? And you're going to find the answer emerging very quickly why your product got crapped out. When you do your strat plan, ask yourself a question day one. Does this SKU belong in an online portfolio for listing in the first place? There are many ways to work around crap, work with crap. You can easily bundle up your products. Maybe you should be selling a product efficacy, but that's really for you to figure out in your company in the category that you do business in. But in 2019, crap is real. You need to take it seriously, and you should be planning your assortment for crap. If you're not, you're going to turn around 12 months from now, whenever the calendar year ends for you, and you're going to regret crap. And I don't think that's fair to the industry. Plan for it, deal with it, crap will go away. Straightforward.
Question 5. What role does Amazon play in innovation launches for CPG?
OMG, what role does Amazon play in an innovation launch? Amazon plays a huge role in 2019 for CPG and an innovation launch. Just as when we used to create products for the industry, for the consumer. Remember, our king and queens are consumers. They're not anybody else but consumers. We all are happy when a consumer actually consumes a product that we're proud of and we put in the marketplace. Keeping that in mind, where does a consumer go today? More than 50% of the time, publicly available metrics say so. You can just go to Google and find these metrics straightforward. Where do consumers go to look for a new product, a new innovation, launch, call it what you may? They go to one place. As a result of which, you need to make sure you flex your digital muscles on day one for your innovation launch. What are those digital muscles? Make sure you have an SEO-based product title in the digital content. Make sure your bullet points are SEO focused. That's a big one. Now, of course, you're going to ask the question, how do I know if it's SEO focused? That's a mystery that we'll solve in a future edition of the show. But these are day one launch items you should be focused on. And more importantly, we already talked about AMS in one of the previous questions today. If you're not enrolling in AMS for your innovation and new product launch, along with flexing your muscles on digital content, it's a miss. That's how in 2019 you need to take your role on Amazon and your innovation launch in the first place. I'm going to bet one more thing, guys. You'll never forget this image of Sri flexing his muscles.